Hello everyone, welcome back to my cursed Let's Play of Minecraft. We resume in our hacked together world where we started in the end biome and now are in a snowy taiga. I'm gonna sleep real quick before we roll the next random biome. Where will we end up today? 33. I think 33 is gonna be an overworld biome, hopefully. 31, 32, 33, meadow. Oh, we almost got mushroom fields. I actually don't know what meadow means. I'm not familiar with all these. Let's find out. Oh, it's like a flower biome. Cool. As always, we copy over the level.dat to get our new world generation, reset spawn point, restore our levels back to where they were, and there we go. We continue. By the way, sorry for the cracked audio quality in the first two episodes. I accidentally had my microphone set up with a compressor so I could talk into it from further away, so it was a little scuffed, but it should be fixed now. All right, let's try to find this meadows, see what's going on out there. I don't know if there's trees in the meadows. In regular Minecraft, even if you're in a desert or something, you can get like a lush cave, get that azalea tree or whatever it's called. But here, because it's single biome, no such thing exists. This is strange. Snowy taiga. Why is it melted here? I don't know what's going on. There's gonna be a lot of strange places like this in this world, I'm sure. We've got different color water on each side. Does that mean this is meadows? It is. Why do we have ocean in the meadows? I'm trying to keep my spawn chunks like somewhat useful. So if I just boat out there and generate a bunch of ocean that's technically meadows with nothing in it, that's kind of a waste of good chunks. So I should probably go back to land and generate stuff there, unless it's all ocean. I don't really know how all this works. Oh, there's meadows. Nice. Duggies. Hi, Dougie. All right, here we are. Not too bad. This is really weird. So we have one chunk of ice, one chunk of water, one chunk of snow again, and then flowers. Weird stuff. I am glad we're getting another biome that has actual food in it. Ooh, and caves maybe. Maybe we can finally get diamonds. I will check that out in a minute. Not really much for trees out here though. Can we get villages in meadows? That would be cool. But it looks like for the most part we've got flowers and water. Okay, yeah, it's really just a whole lot of nothing. Oh, we got rabbits though. First rabbit of the series. And a lava lake again, maybe? I am just being taunted with the nether right now. I was doing some thinking about this series as I was editing the last two videos. I actually kind of don't think I'm going to go to the nether for a while, even though I was sort of focused on it in the first two episodes. Because the special thing about this playthrough with the single biome random generation thing is that we can get nether and end biomes, which I believe generate fortresses and bastions and everything, even though we're technically in the overworld. So that could be kind of a fun thing about this playthrough, is that we never have to leave the overworld, aside from killing the dragon. But I think even like end cities and everything can be done in the overworld here, as long as we roll a randomized number to get one of the outer end biomes. So I'm gonna forgo going to the nether, even though we've been nicely presented with another lava lake here. Donkey! Hey buddy. You might notice I'm also playing with my render distance really low, and that's so I don't generate a ton of chunks that I don't need to. Ooh, big ravine. Yeah, this is another mining episode for sure. Is there anything I need specific flowers for? This would be a really good time to collect them. Are there good suspicious stew recipes with any of these? Saturation's pretty good. I don't think we really need any of them though. Conserving inventory space is going to be a big thing here, at least until I can get shulker boxes or maybe make some bundles. So I'm just gonna go mining, I think. Making a little platform here for my bed. A cozy little spot. And some torches. That's a hell of a base right there. I want to say I'm surprised to see the first two episodes I uploaded already actually got a little bit of views. So there are now 21 subscribers here at the moment of recording this. So hello to all of you. I fully expected there to be 0 views for the first 5-10 episodes at least, but I guess the algorithm is deciding to do something today. and that is very cool to see. I know I didn't have any profound thoughts to share in episode 2 because I filmed those two back to back, but I'm going to continue just talking about random life things during these episodes. So now that there's actually people here, if any of you have anything on your mind, any questions, topics to yap about, let me know. I'll look through the comments. Today, while I have a little relaxing mining session, what's on my mind is the idea of momentum, just how powerful harnessing momentum can be. It's another one of those things. I'll cover a lot of this on this channel, kind of reiterating common wisdom, but it's because when you hear these things 1,000 times that seem so obvious, it often doesn't seem real, or you feel like it doesn't apply to you. It feels like if there's a piece of advice that's common, then it must be cheap. It must be, I don't need to pay attention to that, you know? But a lot of common advice is very powerful, and it's easy to forget. And one of those things is just habits and momentum. I am constantly reminded in my life of how powerful momentum is, and yet I keep finding excuses to not be consistent with things. If I say, I'm going to wake up at a certain time every day and do this piece of work first thing in the morning. It's so easy to convince yourself on some random day that you're like, I don't actually need to today. Not a big deal. But really, it only takes like 2 off days to break a habit. And it takes so much longer to build them. Allowing yourself to succumb to excuses, no matter how valid they may seem in the moment, is a huge killer of momentum. Oh, who's shooting me? The best times in my life, the times where I've been the most happy, the most productive, the most successful, however you define success, have been when I set rigid expectations and rules for myself that I did not let myself make excuses to not do. And yet somehow those periods always end after a couple months or something. There's always something that breaks you out of that momentum. Or at least for me, I don't know. And that's tough, man. It makes your efforts feel futile. Oh, diamonds! Let's go! The most random place for diamonds to be. But I'll take it. Really just 1. Are we serious here? Oh, there we go. 2. And 3. They're all hidden. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I dug around these. Secret ores, folks. And a secret cave. I'm not talking about this momentum thing because I have any profound solution for it, because I don't think there is a solution for it. I think the important thing is to not beat yourself up for falling off the wagon when you do break a habit or break a streak of something you're trying to do. Because when you tell yourself, I'm a failure, I can't do this, I'll never be consistent, I'll never be successful, then you become a failure. If you tell yourself, I can't do it, then you can't. You got to be forgiving with yourself. Because the truth is, you're not always going to be consistent with everything you're trying to do. Whether it's picking up a skill, I don't know, you're playing the piano and you try to practice all the time, but you have off days, you have off weeks. You're trying to build a business. You're trying to become a famous TikTok star or something, I don't know. It all requires consistency. And when you inevitably fall off that wagon for a little bit, you got to be okay with that. Get up and try again. There's a statistic that the average smoker tries to quit like 20 times before they succeed. Or maybe it was 50 or something. I don't know the exact number. Maybe that's a weird example because that's breaking a habit instead of building one. But it's the same concept. It's the same basic idea, strengthening your willpower to beat your human instinct, your desire in a moment. Every time you say, I'm not going to go to the gym today, I'm not going to work out this morning, it's the same thing. You're letting a momentary desire take over your long-term goals. And I really think how good you become at doing that is a massive, massive factor at how far you go in life. Not that there aren't immensely successful people with no self-control or willpower or grit, but on average, I think that's a huge factor to success. Which, there's a whole nother rabbit hole to dive down of what does success even mean, but we'll save that for another day. You know what I mean, basically. I bring up the analogy of the average smoker taking 20 attempts at quitting to actually quit because it's a good parallel. The people who are actually able to shape their lives into what they want it to be are the ones who just don't give up after their first attempts fail, their first many attempts. So how do we apply this? I mean, it's just don't view yourself as a failure for failing, you know? There's the common wisdom I was searching for. How does it go? A mistake isn't a failure until you've given up. Something along those lines. So just be gracious with yourself when you're not being as consistent with the skills you're trying to build, habits you're trying to build as you would like to be. Because that's how you really fail. Kicking yourself while you're down so bad you don't even get up and try again. I think something else that's really important for building momentum is identity, how you view yourself as a person. The smoker that successfully quits after 20 attempts is able to do it once he stops identifying as a smoker who's trying to quit and starts identifying as a non-smoker. And it's the same for any habit building momentum of any kind. If I'm trying to go to the gym 3 times a week, I got to stop identifying as a skinny little dude that's trying to bulk up and start identifying as a gym goer, you know? I think I sort of have a problem in my life where I go too far on that and identify myself in my own head as somebody that's really good at a lot of things and can do everything. And then I fall short of that and kick myself for it, you know? So I think it's important to establish like a realistic, lofty identity for yourself. What do you view yourself as that'll help you actually start living the life you want to live? You know, lower your expectations for yourself where you're setting too high of standards. Raise your expectations for yourself where you're making excuses. And it's a long process. It's a lifelong process. There's no winning this thing. There's just getting better. You'll never have it all figured out. Life isn't here for us to figure out. It's just about living the life you want to live as you strive towards something. Like we were talking about in episode 1 with enjoying the journey. Not making everything about goals, but about incremental improvements. That's what I have to say on that today, I think. Something I'm trying to get better at. Adjusting my identity, my expectations for myself in some aspects of life to raise them and in some aspects of life to lower them. I think for me in my life, I have to lower my expectations for what I can get done in my career and in work, and maybe raise them for what I can do in my personal and social life. But that's just the kind of guy I am. Everybody starts in different places, has to balance in different ways. I should ask, by the way, since there are people here now watching these, the algorithm works weird sometimes, and I have no idea who y'all are. Did I get sent a bunch of like 14-year-olds in the algorithm, or are y'all like around my age, early 20s? If I had to guess, most people watching these are probably like early 20s, late teens. So probably the target demo for yapping and advice like this. I want to avoid the word advice, I guess, because I'm not trying to give advice here necessarily. I'm figuring it out like everybody else. But yeah, if there's anything on y'all's minds that you'd like to hear some yapping about, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep going through whatever's on my mind each day. Okay, that cave was like not as big as I thought it was going to be. But I did get the 7 diamonds. That's pretty cool. 1 short of a chest plate. I could make some pants, or I could save them for an enchanting table or something. I think for today, I'm going to save them. If the next biome is a particularly dangerous one, I'll make armor. But if it's one where I could feasibly get a lot of leather and sugar cane, then I'll save them for enchanting. Usually with my playstyle, I'll put 2 towards an enchanting table and put 3 on a pick. And try to get fortune as fast as possible, because then I can maximize all my diamonds going forward, you know? But that's it for today, I think. Successful little mining session. Peaceful biome to be in today. Not really any sugar cane or trees, but it was lovely. That has been my little 1-hour session. Now we put all our things back in the chest for our next world generation type, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for being here.